Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is our take. We are your hosts. I'm Ocean.
I'm Taylor.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give you guys our take on the newest Marvel and Disney original film, the latest entry to the MCU, Guardians of the Galaxy Chapter 3, or Volume 3, Volume 3. This movie came out on May 5th. I know we're a little late. I apologize. It's my fault. I was in Star Wars.
Yeah, you were in Star Wars.
I was in Star Wars. I went to Disneyland in LA for the May the 4th Star Wars event, which there will be a video coming out later this week of me talking about my experience and showing you guys some really cool videos and pictures. So keep an eye out for that. But that's why we weren't able to film on Guardians of the Galaxy last weekend, and that's why you guys are seeing it now. But we are going to give you guys our take in traditional fashion. We'll start off with spoiler-free content, dive into some scores, and then get into the nitty-gritty of spoilers. Before we do that, though, I will let Taylor go ahead and give you guys a rundown of the cast list. It's pretty extensive, so bear with us. Go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of familiar and returning faces, of course. So Peter Quill, a.k.a. the legendary StarLord by Chris Pratt. Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana. And new character, Adam Warlock, played by Will Poulter. Nebula, played by Karen Gillan. Kraglin, I guess, played by Sean Gunn. Groot, of course, Vin Diesel. Drax, Dave Bautista. Mantis by Palm Clementif. I don't know if that's correct.
Name,
and I'm definitely gonna mess this up, but Chukwudi Iwuji, which plays the High Evolutionary.
Oh.
And of course Rocket by Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. All right. Pretty awesome cast list. A lot of really cool characters. A lot of characters that we're all familiar with and love from the other two volumes, as well as Avengers and Infinity Wars and stuff. So we'll get into some spoiler-free content, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about the movie. Taylor, what did you feel about the movie after you watched it?
I thought it was a really good movie. Super enjoyable, and
that's so interesting because you're not much of an MCU fan.
I mean, it's a Guardians movie.
Yeah.
And
a little bit different, right?
Not really, but I enjoyed the first two, and this is no different. There's definitely things that I don't like about this movie, which is not surprising, but I thought it was a good movie.
Okay. I'm kind of somewhere around the same as you. I've always loved the Guardians of the Galaxy. I felt like James Gunn kind of separated the Guardians of the Galaxy from the rest of the MCU. Like they have their own like unique just feel to them, right? And that's mostly just James Gunn's type of movie making and whatnot. But that's what I liked about the Guardians of the Galaxy, is that it just felt different from the rest of the MCU, but also still like was part of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So this movie definitely felt like that. I feel a little bit differently than you, that I feel like this movie was different than the first two. Like there's some things that were different, and I don't really know how I feel about them right now. I was kind of waiting until we talked about it to kind of flesh out some of my feelings about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not I don't mean it's the same as in like it's, I don't know, like super similar to the first two, because this is not my favorite Guardians movie. I'll say that. But this is absolutely a James Gunn movie.
Yeah.
And it's written all over it. And if you like that, that's good. If you don't, not that great.
Yeah.
But we'll, get into all that.
I did enjoy the movie though. Like I did enjoy it. I'm okay with the way it ended. I'm not like blown away or completely satisfied, but I'm okay with it. And we'll talk about why and why not. But it was an enjoyable movie. I don't regret seeing it. So that's kind of my thoughts and his thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. We'll dive into some scores now. Taylor, 1 through 10, what's your score for the final volume of Guardians of the Galaxy as we know it?
Probably give it like a 6.
6? Okay, that's not horrible. I think I'm gonna give it a 7. I think I liked it a little bit more, but it's definitely I don't know. My score, ladies and gentlemen, might change by the time we're done with this episode, just because I have so many like unfleshed out feelings and thoughts about this that I've been waiting to talk to you about with them, because it helps me kind of navigate my way through these thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely a movie like really worth talking about because the immediate reaction, which I'm one for avoiding, like, things about like movies and shows and stuff. This movie in particular was unavoidable because the company themselves were promoting people's opinions as like, I guess, the hype up the movie.
Mm.
And then they'll, like insert celebrity quote, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, you mean like you're trying to avoid spoilers and stuff?
Yeah, or just any ideas in general about
to
like
manage
things
expectations.
before I watch it. And from the immediate reception for, I would assume for a lot of people, is this is James Gunn's masterpiece movie, and everybody like loved this movie. I never bothered to check afterwards, but that's the idea I got before I watched the movie, and then I watched the movie.
Yeah, Mr. Producer Man, what is Guardians of the Galaxy's Rotten Tomato score? Which, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, we got our producer back for the next month or so.
So you should see him at least one video.
One video in the next month, hopefully. But yeah, I think that's kind of what I saw too.
It's at an 82.
82%.
But the audience score is 95.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I could definitely see how people really love this movie. And I don't know if that maybe since we've been doing this channel and we're just a little more critical of movies and TV shows now, just because that's what we've been doing for the last year, has kind of just changed our thought process about movies. But I don't know. There are definitely some things in there that I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting." I don't know.
I mean, I guess we'll see. But I was actually surprised. Currently, we haven't really talked about it yet, but I expected your reaction to be worse than it seems.
Expected to be worse?
Yeah. For this movie.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. It might be. I don't know. I'm pretty fluid on this one. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, those are our scores, ladies and gentlemen. 7 for me, 6 for Taylor. Got our opinions. Before we move on to spoilers, though, Taylor, do you think people should go watch this in the theaters?
Yeah, I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah, I definitely think the action sequences there was some pretty cool stuff, and we're big advocates for seeing movies on big screens with big sound. So if you guys have the time and you're looking for something to do, go check it out. It is kind of long. I think it's just over 2.5 hours long. But I don't think it really feels that long. So we'll see. But that's it for spoiler free, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna dive into some spoilers. If you haven't seen it yet, be warned. We're about to just lay it all out on the table. This will serve as your official
spoiler alert.
Okay. So nobody dies, which is one of the things that I kind of wanted to flesh out with you, because I don't quite know how I feel about that nobody died. Our producer brought it up to me that I have said in the past that I really don't care for death fake outs, right?
Yeah.
I had a huge problem with the way that Shazam Fury of the Gods ended.
Yep.
But I don't think that this movie quite did the same, because like in this movie, it was people being saved at the last moment before they died. Nobody really died and then was like resurrected in some dumb way.
There's one person that absolutely died.
Who died?
StarLord should be dead.
Oh, okay. All right. So
there is no avoiding that.
That's why like I wanted to talk about this, because in my head I'm like, there's no way he should have survived. This movie does that
twice with 2 characters, which is why I'm surprised you feel this way, because this has done the Shazam thing twice, because the entire movie, the whole thing builds up Rocket to die.
Right.
And then they're like, just kidding. There's literally no explanation. It's just, I'm alive. It's all better now. The same thing with StarLord. He literally has like what would be a beautiful moment of him dying
Yeah.
because they replicate what happens to Yondu.
Right.
And then they're like, just kidding. He's not dead either. We're breaking up.
We're breaking up. That's a I don't think I kind of experienced it the same way. I don't know. I didn't the rocket thing. I was I don't want to say I was disappointed because it's not like I wanted Rocket to die, you know, because I love Rocket, but it definitely was like I felt like I was being led down a road and then just nothing. I mean, they for you ladies and gentlemen that haven't seen it, they Rocket was an experiment. We knew that. We knew that he was biomechanically enhanced and engineered. Um, but apparently, whoever it is that made him, which we find out is the High Evolutionary, um, he put in this like kill switch thing that if Rocket is dying, nobody can save him for some reason. It's like a weird thing to put
Well,
in.
it's if anybody tries to tamper with
Tamper.
him, it will just kill him.
Right.
And he was dying, and the only way to save him was to perform surgery, but they can't do that because that would kill him.
Because the kill switch would kill him instead. So then they went on the whole premise of the movie is them going on this elaborate adventure to find out who controlled the kill switch and then get the code to deactivate it. And there's some really sad scenes and some really heavy scenes of Peter Quill freaking out because Rocket's dying, and there's a lot of Rocket's past that gets
periodically flash.
Yeah, it's flashbacks that we get to see Rocket's past, and yeah, damn, bro, like, jeez, I was not expecting it to be like so heavy on that aspect. I was more expecting to just have to deal with the emotions of Rocket dying, not that he had such a shitty life.
Yeah.
But then at the end, they get the coordinate or they get the code. Rocket is essentially dead. We see him flatline on the monitor. They're trying to get the code to work or whatever, and then we get this like kind of cliche scene of Rocket in heaven trying to move on to the afterlife, and then a figure of his past is like, no, you still have stuff to do back there, and then he gets brought back to life, or gets revived essentially. So that's kind of the moment that Taylor was talking about, that he pretty much was dead and then he got brought back. I don't know. I guess now that we kind of dive into it a little bit more, it does irk me. In the moment, it didn't for some reason. I'm not really sure why.
Because it's designed so.
Yeah.
This movie has a lot of very apparent themes that happen throughout it all the time. And it holds it as a crutch until you really sit back, think about what the hell's happening on screen, and realize that this movie, honestly, is kind of weak. If you like take away like the whole sad about every single thing that happens, because that's the only thing that happens, nothing happens in this movie. Like the villains don't mean anything. They don't do anything. Their performances are good, but then nothing gets accomplished. The heroes, none of them die. There's nothing really to be sad about, and it's just like accepting what happens as it happens. A lot of the visuals, I have not watched or played anything with Suicide Squad or anything that is also James Gunn, but I can just tell from this movie alone that everything in this movie is all that James Gunn knows. All the animals with their like cybernetic fucking body parts and stuff, although may look cool, I've seen it in artwork from other things like Suicide Squad and stuff, and it looks exactly the same. So I'm just gonna assume that's just literally that's it. That's your thing. That's all he does, and that's all he can do. And there's not. I mean,
Yeah,
if you like it, you like it. But to me, it just seems like if like it's one thing to be like your style, but if that's all you do, that worries me for the future of
the DC
universe, which is what you are in charge of next.
Yeah.
Especially Superman being your big ticket for the first thing coming out with Superman Legacy. A lot of the stuff with the, I don't remember the planet or people or whatever, but the fleshy stuff, very weird stuff, which, you know, that's a James Gunn thing. He just likes weird shit.
I didn't necessarily mind that because it was out there, you know, and that's kind of the theme that I get from Guardians of the Galaxy. Is the first two is that it's meant to be this like, it's out there, like it's different than everything. So having the whole like planet based thing that was made out of an organism, and that's how it, like, I forget what it was called, but it didn't really bother me. And I love that actor, the head of the security. Dude.
Yeah, he's super funny.
Yeah.
So, I don't mean to say like there's anything wrong with it. It's just I'm just trying to make a point that this is James Gunn.
Yeah.
You're getting James Gunn. So if you like it, you will love this. If you don't, then you know it is what it is.
That's fair. And like you said, it is kind of worrisome for what the DCU is going to look like going forward. If he's going to be real micromanaging on styles and stuff, or he's going to let his directors and stuff have their own way. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that he's already announced for DC just aligns up with all that because they're a bunch of nobodies that nobody cares about, like fucking Booster Gold, who's literally a wannabe hero. That's his thing.
Oh, really?
He's not even a hero, but he just wants to be a hero, but he's really a jackass. And then we have like Swamp Thing, which might actually work well for James Gunn.
I like Swamp Thing.
The Lanterns as a detective noir show, sure, that might be cool. But Superman Legacy for James Gunn, I don't know about that.
Well, guess we'll see. I'm not sure why it didn't have the same effect on me. The whole fake death. The StarLord one, I think the reason why it didn't really affect me is because I was waiting for Warlock to turn the page, right? Because that's his story, you know. Is he supposed to turn into a hero?
Yeah, he does nothing all the entire movie except for.
I do like. Is it Will Poulter? Is his name? I do like him as Adam Warlock.
Yeah, he was really good.
I think he really fits the character. So I think I was waiting for Adam Warlock to turn the page and become a good guy and not seem like a fitting moment. It being the final volume of Guardians of the Galaxy, I think I would have been okay with StarLord dying. It would have sucked. I would have mourned him because he's awesome, but I think I would have been all right with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of characters I love dying for the sake of it being like thoughtful and meaningful, which this is volume 3. This is the end of Guardians. You can go fuck yourself with that stupid bullshit at the end of the movie. Fuck off, Sean Gunn. Like, you and your brother, James Gunn, can just stop.
Yeah. We
don't need to see you put in his movies just because he's your brother. Like, it's cool, but nobody cares, all right?
Well, let's talk about that a little bit because it does seem like this is not the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's just the end of Guardians of the Galaxy as we know it in its current form.
Which means it's the end.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, I think it's the second or it's the first post-credit scene.
Yeah.
The first post-credit scene is a scene of Rocket, who is now, since he didn't die, he is now the captain of the Guardians of the Galaxy because StarLord leaves.
Yeah.
And he leads a new Guardians of the Galaxy, which is comprised of Groot,
Vin Diesel,
Groot, Adam Warlock, what is his name? Kraglin.
Yep.
And somebody else.
It's a little girl.
Oh, the little girl. What are the little girls from? Yeah, I think I said that.
Yeah, you said that.
It's one of the little girls that they save in the high evolutionary ship.
Yeah, she got like psychic
But-
powers.
She looks like a Marvel to me. Like the way her fists lit up, like that looked like a Marvel power.
Yeah.
And I was like,
got color and
oh, that's not good. We don't need more of that.
Yeah, but we're getting it.
We are. That was one of the trailers for
It
the
sure
movie,
is.
was or the Marvels. So that's the new Guardians of the Galaxy. And then the final,
I just want to say the Guardians are dead.
yeah.
Like what they tell you and they show you, don't no. If you are a kid right now, sure, that can be your Guardians. But as Guardians as we know it,
Yeah.
and basically anything that you like about Marvel as you knew it is gone.
Yeah, Marvel is definitely in this place where it's just not the same anymore. It's not
Well,
the same.
everything I don't think there's anything left. Everything has been replaced. I believe this is one of the last ones.
I don't know. I don't know who would be left because Captain
If you
America.
think of something that I can to my mind right now.
Yeah,
everybody else
I'm
has
trying to
been
go
replaced.
through like the main ones, right? So Captain America is replaced. Iron Man is replaced. Which
Hulk is replaced.
Hulk is right. She-Hulk. I never actually watched it, but
I didn't either. But
Yes, technically Thor's still around.
yeah, but his daughter is actually.
but it's
Yeah.
he's
going to be taken over.
They're grooming.
Yeah.
They're grooming it for him
even
to
Black
have
Panther.
Black Panther is replaced. Who else? I don't know. I'm trying to think of
Everybody else is like dead.
Yeah, like
If
Black
they
Widow.
didn't get
Black
replaced,
Widow
they
is
just
dead.
died.
Vision
Yeah.
is dead. Yeah, yeah. I guess Wanda is crazy now. So
Yeah, she's
The girl at the end that you guys talking about, her name is Philo Bell. She's the daughter of the original Marvel.
oh. So
she-
there you go.
she is.
She is.
well,
another one.
obviously it's different.
Well,
different story.
within
Yeah.
comic canon, she's
Yeah.
she's a Marvel, but in this one they kind of, which I'm guessing
Well, they
she's
just
gonna end up
haven't
with the same
explored
power.
it. Yeah.
Huh?
They haven't given her
Yeah,
time to
yeah.
explore it.
But apparently we're getting more StarLord though, because the final credit scene was StarLord going to see his grandpa.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting subplot that I didn't really think was necessary for the movie. The whole, I mean, I know that they did it so that it set up him leaving at the end, but I felt like it was a pretty weak reason for him to leave.
Oh, I thought it was horrible.
I thought it was, I didn't think it was necessary. Which what I'm talking about is throughout the movie, there's this reoccurring conversation between StarLord and Mantis that StarLord has been running away from something ever since he left, or ever since he was abducted from Earth, because he saw his mom die in front of him, and he's kind of hated his family for the way that he was treated in the moment of his mom dying, because his grandpa pushed him away, and he thought he took it as his grandpa and like just being mean to him, whatever. So he's kind of just, he never returned to Earth, right? In the 30 years since or whatever, he never returned to Earth. So that's his reason for leaving the Guardians of the Galaxy, is that he wanted to closure, I guess, of that.
But the worst part about it is it's like a classic Disney move from Star Wars, where they base the entire thing off of one fucking line that Mantis says, which is, I need to learn how to swim. Like the school of fish analogy that Drax totally messes up.
It's so
and it's
funny.
hilarious.
It's so
But
funny.
that's what he says at the end of the movie when he decides to leave the Guardians.
I
And
need
it's,
to learn how to swim.
it's literally this is equal to me as the stupid Palpatine is back somehow.
So I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, what are they planning on doing with Star-Lord?
I can't imagine he's doing a whole lot. It's probably just
I almost
cameos,
like
honestly.
it just kind of reinforces my feeling of I kind of just wish he died.
yeah.
Kind of like I know it's harsh and sounds weird for me to say because we're big fans, but all stories have to come to an end, right? And if you just perpetuate a story for the sake of the story staying alive, it starts to demean the quality and the effect that person's story has. So I kind of just wish he died at the end instead of being saved by Adam Warlock. Because I have no idea what they're doing with him, and I don't even understand that scene either. Like I understand the scene obviously of him going to see his grandpa, and getting closure and whatnot. But then they had this scene of him eating Cheerios at breakfast table with his grandpa. There's a really funny newspaper article that you saw of it's like alien abduction. Kevin Bacon shares all. I thought that was really funny.
Speaking of which,
yeah,
it's another thing I didn't like about this movie.
they just casually dropped in the fact that they're brother and sister.
Well, not only just that, but the fact that everything we knew, I mean, we know about it already.
Yeah.
It's the fact that we learned about it through a fucking Christmas special.
Yeah.
I still am not okay with that.
You're still angry about the Christmas special. Oh, it's funny.
Because had I not watched that, I would feel exactly as I did watching the Christmas special. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, like what is all this shit going on?
Like if somebody, I actually would be curious to know if any of you guys never watched the Christmas special, went to watch the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and when they just casually mention, oh, it's your brother.
It opens immediately too.
Yeah.
They're in nowhere, and they're like, headquarters of the Guardians of the Galaxy. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah. Which I guess wouldn't be that much of a stretch, but the whole brother and sister thing, if you didn't know, you'd be like, what?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably easily miss it because the way they mention it, it's like super casual, so you could just like
chalk it up
one
to them
ear and go out the other, and you're
whatever.
not even realizing.
I don't know. Yeah, I kind of just wish he had StarLord's story would have just ended here. Because how beautiful would it have been if the reason why he died is because he went back for his Walkman or whatever it is, and then as he's jumping, he can't get through to the other side, and he just throws the Walkman to Rocket as his like transferring of leadership or role to Rocket. Now Rocket's the new captain, and he's unfortunately gone. Like that would have been a great moment.
Yeah, and that's literally what they did, except the fact that they pull him.
Yeah.
And then
They did a Carrie Fisher Leia moment.
Yep, grab him real quick, and that's how space works.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess you can make an argument that he is a demigod essentially, right? He's half god, but
he's not a full god.
I don't.
He's half god anymore now that he goes dead.
That's true. I didn't even think
Does that
about
matter?
that.
I think
it does because I think he lost his powers as soon as he killed Ego.
Oh. Yeah, that's kind of why I didn't really care.
That's what Ego. I think that's what he said too, because he's like, if you kill me, you lose all connection to
your
whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's true, then there's really no excuse because
you died, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if people realize, but space is not habitable.
No,
you cannot survive in
There's
space.
a reason we aren't in there,
and it's like pretty immediate. Like you freeze, and your body bloats like almost instantaneously.
Yeah,
like you essentially, if your body were to enter space unprotected, you essentially just like shatter and just
poof.
Yeah, you're just gone. Like it's just kind of
yeah. Now in Yondu's case, it's an exception because he's not human.
Right. He is an alien, so we
have no idea what
there's no
chemical buildup of him and stuff. But for Peter, bro, you died.
Yeah. He should have.
Oh yeah, should have died.
I think it would have made for a better ending for sure. So can we just talk about the fact that that Groot is just on steroids the entire movie?
Yeah, Vin Diesel, you got your wish.
Where?
Oh, okay. Wait. I also wanted to bring up. I just wanted to see how you guys feel about this. Ladies and gentlemen, this movie is the first and only time you're gonna hear Groot talk.
Yeah, all right.
In English.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
I fucking hated it.
I didn't like it at all. Like, why?
Do you know why they did that?
I have no idea.
It's because James Gunn said that. So you know how Gamora started to understand Groot at the end of the movie? He's not talking in English. It's us understanding what he's saying.
I don't like it.
That's what James Gunn said.
I don't like it.
That's what it was.
I don't like it.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying because Gamora is, whatever. But I don't like it because it's like it would be like if Chewbacca, we all of a sudden started hearing Chewbacca talk like normal. I'd be like, no.
Or
No.
just any alien from Star Wars.
So I don't like it. I think it was a dumb move, and it was a really cheap emotional grab.
Well, that's all this movie is.
Yeah. So I didn't like it when I heard him. I was like, I'm pretty sure I even said it out loud in the theater. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, come on! Like that was such a cheap thing to do. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like it. It's nice.
Yeah, if you want to, if that's the like,
and sure, like if you just want to say like I love you guys, like yeah, I get it. You can say that off screen.
Yeah.
Don't be saying that on screen.
But the whole thing about Groot was that all he says is "I am Groot." Like that's his thing. Why are you taking that away from him?
I'll give you an example where somebody doesn't do this, but has a very similar character design. Bumblebee.
Yes.
You do not hear Bumblebee talk except for
I think in the Bumblebee he does, right?
Well, yeah, that's completely
he still has
separate
his voice box at that time.
Movie. Yeah, that's a different different
Yeah.
Bumblebee. But in like whether you love them or hate them, I'm just meaning in the character.
Yeah.
Bumblebee in like the actual Transformers franchise, he never talks because he doesn't have his voice thing, like you said, and he speaks through recordings of
the radio.
Yeah, through his radio, which is kind of just part of his thing.
Yeah,
like Groot or any other thing on a movie that just talks in a different language.
Well, I think you're right, definitely. I think a perfect example of why it is not as effective as James Gunn had intended it to be is because we already got a moment like that from Groot. At the end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy, when Groot turns himself into a giant bush thing to protect the Guardians from the exploding ship, there's that beautiful moment of him, with the whatever like firefly thing for light he makes, and then everybody's crying because Groot is sacrificing himself for them.
Yeah.
And he says, "I am Groot" as his like final words to them. We got that beautiful moment from him, and they maintained just saying "I am Groot." So why are you changing it now at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy? And to me, just completely stripping away the effectiveness of that saying to the audience and to the people.
Yeah, and I think there's something interesting to like keep in mind when it's something that like, even if it's a language you don't know, how you convey that, like whatever you're speaking, can be enough for another human being or whatever to recognize.
100%.
So even though he's saying "I am Groot," there are times, I'm sure, for many people out there, what he means to say just by the way he's saying it.
And that's what makes it more powerful. And they took that away from us.
Yeah. Doesn't he say "We are Groot" at the end? I'm pretty sure he says.
He might say "We are Groot."
Oh, like at the very end?
At the end of
the first movie. He
might. I think he does.
But that's, to me, that's a subtle enough change that it gives a little bit different, but it's not just a complete differentiation from his normal thing.
Yeah.
That'd be like, that to me is like somebody that speaks another language trying to add in some English to their vocabulary to, instead of just, I speak English now.
I also don't even know if "I am Groot" is English to him.
Right. Yeah.
It could just not be English. To us, it just happens to make sense of what it is. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because that's definitely possible. Because in other languages, our words don't mean the same thing, even though it looks the exact same and sounds the same.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. I didn't like it. But I did like the fact that Groot was just an absolute unit the entire
because it's Vin Diesel. And he's just getting bigger and bigger. And he does look fucking cool.
At the end.
Especially at the very end.
Dude, at the after credit scene, the dude is huge.
Yeah,
he's jacked.
He's literally like a fucking house.
The only question I have is, why is he different now? Because in the first Guardians
too, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was literally
sapling 2 movies ago.
I don't remember. Do you guys remember if they say like, "Oh, this much time has passed" or whatever?
No, there's no explanation of time jump.
I actually just watched a video on TikTok explaining why baby Groot has grown different than regular Groot. He said something like, if you think about regular Groot, grew up in prison, grew up in having hardships in life and all that stuff. And this baby Groot obviously grew up a little bit different. And
Yeah.
something about, I don't remember exactly what it, but he said something about basically they grew up different, way different circumstances, way different lives. So it's not all that different to say that they would grow up to be
Yeah,
slightly different.
so if you guys couldn't really hear him, he's saying that there's somebody that tried to explain it, saying that the Groot that we knew in the first movie grew up in a certain way, and the Groot that we saw grow up from the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 through even the shorts that they put out about him, and then the this movie and Infinity War and stuff, grew up differently, right? So it wouldn't be that far fetched that he would end up in a physical state. For me, it's such a drastically different physical state because he's still the same plant. Like, if you're the same plant, plants grow to look, they have like the same characteristics. Like, a bird's of paradise looks like a bird's of paradise. It may be bigger or smaller or wider or
Different
longer
color.
or different color maybe, but it still looks like a bird of paradise. The Groot that we saw in this movie looks nothing like the Groot from the first movie.
Was that
Is that a fan theory?
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to know.
It makes sense. It definitely
if
makes
James
sense.
said it, I would be like, oh, okay.
What the hell, James? Yeah. No, it definitely
But,
makes sense as a fan theory for sure.
I mean, if you it makes sense like for real people. Like you could take.
It just, to me, like the Groot from the first movie looks more like an Ent from the Lord of the Rings, and now he looks like
he looks like Vin Diesel in a fucking wooden
made out of wood
armor, like
yeah. But like Fast and the Furious 1 Vin Diesel, not Fast 10.
Don't let him hear you say
that. Yeah, I don't know. I just I didn't really have an issue
not
with
only
it.
that,
I was
actually,
just like, holy
shit. The Groot at the very end and the post credits, that's not Groot, bro.
Dude.
That's a fucking kaiju.
Yeah, but that was really funny, actually.
Like, he looks badass.
Yeah.
But his actual body structure is way different.
Yeah.
Like he
his
literally
head is like
looks like fucking Saruman.
Yeah.
As a tree.
Dude.
But jacked.
He looks so nuts. Like, I was just like, geez, Groot, what are you on, bro?
He looks like he should be hanging out with the Hulk.
For real. Yeah. That kaiju moment is really funny, though. It was really funny when they were on the counter Earth and StarLord's like, Groot, kaiju mode. He's just like, ah! It's so funny. I don't know how you felt, but for me, there was a lot of really good humor.
No, yeah, it's funny.
Really
it's
funny.
a Guardians movie, so there's a lot of humor. That's great.
Yeah, the humor was pretty solid. It was pretty funny. Very classic Guardians humor, and it was funny. Drax is just. I'm really sad that Dave Bautista has officially given up, playing Drax, because I think he's just. Like, nobody else, like, I feel like Drax is one of those characters that I don't think anybody else could play. I think Dave Bautista is Drax in the same way that, like, RDJ is Iron Man, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Marvel way.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else could play Drax because Dave Bautista just nailed it. Conversely to the comedic theme and the lightheartedness of the movie, there's also some very, very dark tones to it, especially dealing with animal cruelty and disfiguration and some, like, I don't know about you, but the, like, animal mechs that were in the cages with Rocket.
His friends?
Yeah, his friends. Was it Teefs, Lila, and Floor?
Yep.
Freaky as hell, man. Especially Floor.
I didn't think Lila was that bad. Floor and
Teefs
are definitely
oh my
creepy.
gosh, dude. Like little kids might have nightmares, kind of freaky. Like,
yeah, I mean,
especially Floor.
This kind of, I wouldn't say it's like unusual for at least Disney, because this
Yeah.
to me felt like Toy Story with the
Yeah,
creepy
yeah.
toys,
Yeah.
except they're animals.
Right.
Because even their looks are pretty similar to like the toys, where it's half spider, like one's got like extra freaking legs, teeth on wheels.
Floor got
like,
me. Teef's, it was his eyes were weird because they're like being
they're just
held
like
open.
held open. Yeah.
And Lila even was weird for me because her arm, like it just was disproportionate and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't bother me as much, but
when I saw Floor,
overall,
dude,
they're definitely creepy.
when
Same
I
thing
saw
with the
Floor,
High
I was like,
Evolutionary.
oh my god, yeah, with the
His
stretched face.
Yeah.
And even like some of the monsters that they have, or like the soldiers that the High Evolutionary has at the end, there's some freaky
War
looking
Pig
stuff.
and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I said, very James Gunn stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really expecting it, and I wasn't expecting the whole animal cruelty thing to be so prevalent in it. I knew we were gonna get some of Rocket's backstory, and I knew it dealt with being experimented on and you know, modifications and stuff. But I didn't think I was really expecting it to be so prevalent throughout the movie and just so like just like it was just in there. Like I don't know. A lot of times when movies and TV shows deal with animal cruelty, it's kind of shielded a little bit. They try their best to kind of just like they'll talk about it, they'll kind of show a little bit, but they don't just like openly show it because it's I don't know. I feel like animal cruelty is like one of the most widely accepted bad things in society. You know, like that's why dogs don't die in movies because if a dog dies in your movie, nobody's gonna like it. Because that's just a thing.
It's a bad movie.
It's just a bad movie. That's just a thing. You know, nobody likes to see dogs die. So the fact that it was just like in there and like just no filter, no nothing, I was like, oh, okay. All right. It just kind of, I don't think it was bad, but it just caught me off guard for sure. How much it was in there. One issue that I did want to talk about that I feel like is a reoccurring theme for a lot of superhero movies and a lot of villains is the de-escalation of power scale of the villain. I don't understand why the High Evolutionary could pin Adam Warlock, who is supposed to be the ultimate specimen, to the wall and just completely neutralize him in the beginning of the movie, and then at the end he gets beaten by a raccoon with gravity boots.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's one of those things that like I don't really know how to solve the issue because it seems like it's a reoccurring,
especially in this case. You fucking kill people.
Yeah, or you got. I mean, you got to get a little. I guess you got to get a little darker.
I mean, Thanos killed people.
Yeah, true.
So.
And that's kind of what made Thanos so great, right? Is that he was real, like, and it was a real threat. Like Thanos won. Like he won initially, you know?
Yeah, he just won a battle.
Yeah.
And then lost the war.
Well, it seemed like he won the war, but then it turned into a battle. But I don't know. I it's an issue that seems to come up pretty frequently in these movies, and I don't really know how to fix it. Like I feel like it's kind of like the same thing as what's his name from Ant-Man? What's his name? The villain?
Oh, Kang.
Kang. Yeah, the Kang variant in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Insanely powerful.
Yeah, pretty much the same, honestly. Like powers are pretty similar.
Yeah.
They just have different agendas.
They have this like force power thing, and then they just don't know how to beat something stupid like a raccoon with gravity boots.
Or giant ants.
Or giant ants overwhelming them. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys have a way to solve the issue, but I don't know. The
High Evolutionary's power, like the way they explain it in the movie, is that he uses gravity. Like he manipulates gravity. That's his power. That's that purple stuff that you see is him manipulating gravity.
That's
so
awesome.
That's the thought process for Rocket. He uses boots to counter that, and then he beats him up. So it's a little bit.
I don't really remember. I don't really remember them talking about that. Maybe I just missed it.
I mean, I think that sounds awesome, but the boots counteracting that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember them talking about like, oh, you're because there's that one scene of him like drunk, but it was a result of him doing his test or like his treatment. They're like, oh, he didn't finish his treatment or whatever. And obviously he enhanced himself in the same ways that he enhanced a lot of the animals.
There's a scene where he says, I turn the attention back to myself and now gravity bows to me or something.
Oh, I don't remember that scene. I don't remember that line, I guess.
Oh, gravity powers is cool though.
If it is gravity based, I don't know. That I have issues with that just by the laws of gravity, because a lot of time they're in space. Yeah.
At the end when he blows up the.
Yeah. Like you're in space. How are you manipulating gravity in space?
Creating it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, the non-explanation of powers and the weird de-escalation of the power.
Oh, wait, real quick. So, by gravity, do you just mean he can change gravity direction or its pull or what? Or is it like
I don't think you know.
Manipulate?
I'm just saying that the idea in the concept of his power from like.
It's just gravity based.
It's gravity, so when he's pushing people around, it's like I don't know.
He's just manipulating. I don't think there's any more explanation.
Okay.
Other than the fact that his gravity his power is gravity based.
It's just a writing problem.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm just trying to get a concept of understanding of like how it works.
Well, that's what I mean. There is no explanation of it.
Because I'm trying to imagine it like Magneto.
Right.
He controls metal. Doesn't matter where it's at. He can literally just manipulate it to do whatever he wants.
Right.
But if it's the same thing with gravity, theoretically you can do anything and you could just you could rip people apart because you just force the gravity to come out. Or what? I don't know. You can do wild stuff. I don't know. Or if it's just something simple and stupid like you go up, you go down, you go that way. You know what I mean?
It's more like I mean, gravity is literally just centrifugal force, right? Or the opposite of centrifugal force, right? It's the byproduct. So I don't know. This is what I mean is like there's no explanation of why his powers are what they are. So when we see them so powerful in the beginning and then at the end he gets defeated, it's like, okay, but why? Like, why was Rocket's gravity boots able to defeat this dude's insane power? You know, so that's the issue that I have, and I'm waiting for a superhero movie to do better with it or not have that issue, I guess.
You're either going to be waiting a very long time, or it's never going to matter. Because the heroes that it might happen to, you won't even know who they are.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless they do reboots of the original characters, which shouldn't really happen for like at least another like 15 years.
At least. Which, I don't know. That's an interesting topic to discuss, you know, is like, where's the like long term of the MCU headed? You know, like 20 years down the road. Are they restarting? Or is there going to come to a point where Disney and Marvel are like, all right, this is the end of MCU. There is no more.
No, that's not happening. It's Disney. So what Disney is going to do is they're going to run this shit into the ground. Then they're going to do it again in animated series versions because that's the new thing. And then they're going to come back and reboot it again, those animated versions in live action. Just like all the fucking Disney IPs they're doing right now. And then when we are dead, they might reboot it from the
when this generation is gone and you know, and everybody that experienced Infinity War and Endgame firsthand, when that generation, when everybody from that generation is gone, then they reboot it again because then it'll be fresh for everybody that's living at that time.
Generation.
And by that time, we're going to have like VR headsets that you can interact with the movie.
No. By that time,
you'd be part of the movie.
You're just going to have chips in you.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to be in the Disneyverse.
Disneyverse.
You're going to be in the Disney metaverse.
Yeah, it's not that far-fetched. It's not really that far-fetched.
You will already be a slave to Disney.
Speaking of Disney making live actions of IPs, this is just kind of like a request / PSA. Can we not make Moana into a live action, please? Like, I know The Rock thinks he can kind of just do whatever he wants because he's The Rock now, but like, let's just not make Moana into a live action. And if you agree with me, go ahead and like this video, clip this section, throw it on your Instagram or TikTok, and let's just spread the word, because as somebody that comes from one of the cultures that's represented in the original movie, we do not want to see a live action version of Moana at this current time. Moana is still an extremely good movie, and I love it, and I would be open to a Moana 2 that is animated, but we do not need a live action version.
Unfortunately for you and all of us, it's happening whether you want it or not. They already ruined everybody else, so they got to keep going.
Freaking, I don't know. Please don't.
It's gonna be just as bad as Mulan,
Oh,
maybe
God.
even worse.
I don't know if it's possible to be worse than Mulan. Mulan was bottom of the barrel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't really have much more to say about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. There definitely were some issues, definitely some things that, especially after talking with you about them,
It's a real small thing, but I just wanted to bring it up. You remember when we watched Terminal List? Did you watch that too?
Yeah.
Do you remember that scene with Sean Gunn being naked?
Oh yeah.
He still looks like that.
Yeah.
In this movie, you can see it.
Yeah, maybe it's his body then.
I guess it is.
Oh, it's weird.
It's kind of creepy.
It's super creepy.
Sorry, I noticed that.
No, now you have that image in my head, and I'm just not thankful for that.
Hey, but we got these cool uniforms though.
Yeah. We got
nice.
some cool uniforms. We got some really cool visuals, really cool action scenes. Groot and StarLord back to back, shooting stuff was cool. Even though we saw it in the trailer, but the extended version of it was really cool.
Did you like the Sean Gunn moment with Michael Rooker coming back for the little?
I think it would have been just okay with the voice. I don't think I needed to see Yondu. I think I would have been okay with just a voice and or maybe a memory, maybe like a flashback. I don't think I needed to see Yondu in that moment, but I don't know. It's not horrible, I guess. It did seem really fast. Like he could control the arrow, but when he shot it at Adam Warlock, it just hit him in the face and fell. Who threw that at me?
Yeah, that was funny.
What did he say? Childish or something.
Yeah.
But and then at the end, there was looked like 1,000 of those soldier things, the mech soldiers destroying nowhere.
When he gets his moment.
Yeah. And then he kind of kill, you see him destroy maybe 20 of them, and then the battle is over.
I don't know. It looked like 6.
Yeah, maybe yeah, maybe. I mean, it seemed like he just kind of destroyed a few of them, and then Cosmos destroyed the last one, and then that was it. But there was 1,000 of them that poured into the play. Final word though, Cosmos, you're a good dog.
Yeah,
you're a good dog.
Of course.
Yeah, funny. There's a lot of really funny moments, ladies and gentlemen. After talking with you, Taylor, I think my score is going to stay the same at 7. You kind of helped me reconfirm some things that I didn't think I liked, but wasn't sure, and brought to light some new issues. But overall, I still enjoyed the movie. The humor was really funny, which is to me a really important part of Guardians of the Galaxy, because that's definitely an original trait from the first two. So the humor was there. The action was there. Storyline, not the best, but that's why for me it's a 7.
Yeah, it's a solid movie.
Yeah,
it's just
it's something I would rewatch.
It's disappointing to me, but it's a solid movie.
Yeah, out of all the MCU movies, it's on the half that I would rewatch. Yeah, down the line.
I mean, I'd rather rewatch the second one again for the 5 millionth time, but Volume 2 is so much better.
Is Volume 2 Ego?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, because I didn't really care for that one as much.
The
first one is my favorite.
You didn't like Yondu dying?
I mean, it was a great moment, but I didn't really care for the whole Ego thing. But for me, the first one is the best one, by far. The original, it's just So good. I love that movie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you guys thought about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And if you guys haven't seen it, let us know if you guys are going to go watch it after hearing our take on the movie. We we enjoyed it, but we were kind of left wanting a little bit more. What's the next Marvel movie coming out?
Probably the Marvels.
I have no idea. Kind of stop keeping track, if I'm being
I
honest.
think it's the Marvels.
I don't really know. But yeah, we'll keep an eye out for the next one. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we got some more episodes coming later this week. We got a Star Wars episode coming on Wednesday, and then a breakdown of my experience at Star Wars Night later on this week. So keep an eye out for that. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for all the love and support you guys have been showing us. We really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Check out our social media links as well as the other shows here on 90 Media. Keep an eye out for the return of High and D Sports, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye, guys.